Hello, this is Craig at Flooded, and Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad director James Gunn cannot believe he's really got me a bit mad this morning. He says he tweeted out this morning that he can't believe there are people upset about the colour of a mermaid's skin. Well, what is all this about, I hear you ask? Well, it's all about basically what's happened is Disney have had their big expo. It's called D23 or something, D23. They've had their big expo over in the land of America, which is another planet entirely. And the film The Little Mermaid, that normally I couldn't give two hoots about, and actually still don't really. The film's finished. They finished it. I think they finished it. I don't really know. But they've gone and race swapped the main character of The Little Mermaid. And people are tending to react to that in a way that Hollywood absolutely hates. Of course, they feel that if you've got a problem with race swapping, you're basically racist, which is what they're telling the fans. But if you actually go and look at the trailer for The Little Mermaid, the official teaser trailer, it says down there, you probably can't see it, but it says down here, dislikes 847,000, dislikes 212 likes, and that's 6.7 million views as of the release of this trailer, which was yesterday. So that's been a lot of views, a lot of reach, and a lot of people deliberately hitting the dislike button. Now, in order to hit that dislike button, it takes something in you to make you do that. You get riled about something, and I think it is a sign. I mean, this is like, if you look at all the YouTube channels that are out there that are anti-woke, they're anti what's happening in Hollywood. In terms of the diversity and inclusion policies they've got both in front of and behind the camera. And I'm somebody who is against that. Well, I'm not against it, but I'm against how they're doing it. This, you could reasonably argue that this is just people, this is activism, people hitting these dislikes. This is not general public. This is not normies. This is people who are watching YouTube channels like The Gathering, Nerdrotics, Ryan Cannell, Geeks and Gamers. This is that crowd all basically watching a video by them and then going, I'll go over there and make sure I hit that dislike just to join in the game. Because it's very much a game at the moment of people deliberately disliking these films. Where perhaps they shouldn't really care. I don't know. The argument's always been that what are you doing to our, and they use this biblical term, beloved characters, which is, but The Little Mermaid isn't their beloved character. It's not not from a comic. They just don't like what Hollywood's doing. They don't like the policy that Disney have, which is they have a massive policy of diversity and inclusion, world of belonging. They say that they are making content and programs and theme parks for people who look like all sorts of different things. Not just like it's diverse people. It's important to them that these faces are represented in the staff they have and in the films they make, and it's a huge problem for these companies because how do you get it so that all these different people of color are involved in your business? You can force it. So, because you also don't want to lose out on income because of the racism of other countries that you might want to sell your film to, which I think is the bigger deal here. That is the silent secret. It's the dirty secret that no film director or actor or anyone's talking about. Instead, they're opting for how do we cover up our dirty secret? We cover it up by telling anyone who complains about it that they're racist. And the fact is that Hollywood knows that if they have a black lead in a film that gets sold to China, it will have a massive impact on the sales, a negative impact on the sales of that film to China. I would like to see more information around that, actually, to find out if that's true, because it certainly seems to be what they're doing. We saw it in the poster, didn't we, for Star Wars where they had the black actor right, really bold in the European version, right up front there. And then when the version of the poster that went out in China, he was reduced to a little tiny guy in the background. And then they put the little robot up front. Are you impressed by my knowledge of both actors, characters from Star Wars? I know everything about films. So this is a policy that Disney has, and you know, they have a big drive. They have a workforce diversity dashboard where the overall workforce, they have women at 50%. They have people of color at 46% overall. Executive positions, they got women at 43% and people of color at 25%. Manager roles, 43% are women. People of color, 30% of them are people of color. And below manager roles, 52% are women, and people of color, 50%. Now you might have all sorts of comments about that, but they're boasting about this. They're letting you know that whoever you are, you're kind of welcome. Although I would think that if you are part of the 50.9% white at the bottom of that list there in column 1, then although it looks like you're going to be the person most likely to get a job there, there's if the other 50% are not really being successful in their job applications, it might be that impacts your chances. So it's all very sort of controversial. The BBC are doing it. They're looking for 20% of their workforce to be people of colour, and that does not really marry up to the proportion of people of colour in the UK, which from the last census, I think something about 11 or 12%. Maybe even less. I think that probably will go up in 2023, so maybe that's what they're doing. But so my question is, like, if you're the BBC and you want, it's easy to do it front of camera. That's easy. You just force it, just push it through, and then not really care about whether people object to it or not. But in terms of, and I'll talk about that in a second, but in terms of people behind the camera and managerial positions and admin roles and directors, producers, researchers, it does seem that they have a problem in that there's not enough applications coming through from people of colour. Now, why would that be? Would that be that they're just not bothering because they don't think they'd ever stand a chance because essentially institutions like the BBC are racist? Are they not qualified? Does it matter? The BBC definitely would have a policy of it doesn't matter if you're qualified or not. You come and apply. What is the reasons? And we need to find out some figures around that, I think, before I can form my full opinion on it. But it definitely doesn't. It stinks to me that because I work in television and I know that when I apply for work. Because I see at the bottom of every advert that they're particularly looking for people from diverse backgrounds, disabilities or whatever. And, you know, I'm a white straight male, older. So the chances of me in a bigoted world, age is massively bigoted regardless of who you are. If you're old, you're kind of seen as slower. When in fact, probably more expensive because you've got a few years on you of experience. It's not true. None of that's kind of a myth. Just ask. But the bigotry towards people of age, POAs, is appalling. So that's what's happened. The Little Mermaid has come out. Should we have a quick look at the little skim through the trailer here? Now. Just mute it down. I don't. Is it Disney 100 years old now? Wow, that's quite impressive. So this is the theme park company, and you got to bear in mind that how they market these films is 100% on their minds. They're thinking about everything. This will be a ride, or it'll be some aspect of it will be incorporated into the theme park. So we got Little Mermaid here. What you get is a little flash of a tail. And it all looks fine, you know, there's a wreck of a ship. I've noticed that all the colours are very muted, that they're presenting the world that she lives in as being very gloomy. It's not somewhere like a young, beautiful woman would want to be. It's blues and greys and dull browns and barnacles. And she's flashing through the weeds. And then you see she seems to have a little base. See all these pots and pans and trinkets? She seems to be collecting lots of little trinkets, and they're all on the shelves here. And she's on her own as well. That's the other thing, is like it's a very lonely looking world. It reminds me It reminds me a little bit of Wall-E, where she's living. And then she sees this crashes and bangs and flashes through this tunnel here. So she goes up to have a look and she disappears. And then as she's looking up to the sky, the Little Mermaid sings a song about wanting to leave the sea. And shock horror, it's a black girl. And they've race swapped the main character. I've just found out today that she's got orange hair there, or ginger hair. As I say, the colours are very, very muted. But she looks absolutely fantastic, a beautiful woman. And, you can have all sorts of nitpicky questions around makeup under the water and would her hair look like that under the water. Oh, by the way, I've learned that, well, this is braided hair, isn't it? But we don't say dreadlocks anymore. We just say locks because people don't like the word dread. It's got a negative association. Only positive associations, please. In everything. So people are very upset that there's race swapping going on. Now, I do care about race swapping, but the reason I care about it is because I'm mad. I'm furious that these Hollywood companies are, in order to distract the public from the real reason they are race swapping, they're distracting by saying, "Oh, anyone object to it is just a racist." And I think the real reason they're doing it is, because they've got these inclusions, these inclusion policies, diversity policies in place. You've got the Oscar people, the foreign press saying, terrified of being called racist, so they've got to have more options at the ceremonies and the award ceremonies. But more than all of that, it's sales, and there are lots of countries out there that Hollywood makes a lot of money from, that aren't America, that aren't in the West, that aren't Britain, UK, or Europe. Companies that are essentially got a racist element to them. It might be India, it might be China. We've seen it before in the poster campaigns, the Chinese poster campaign for Star Wars film. I can't remember the title of it, where they made the black character tiny in the Chinese version of the poster, and he was like big and bold in the 4 on the Force Awakens on the European version of the poster. And we know we do this. They're aware of it, and they know about it, and the directors know about it, which is why people were particularly upset when James Gunn came along on Twitter with his tweet telling the world that I can't believe there are people upset about the colour of a mermaid's skin. Now, what's it? And he's laughing his head off at them. James thinks, I don't know. I don't get this. He must think it's just a small amount of people. But he gets 46,000 likes for that. And it gets quoted 426 times, retweeted. Because it's kind of missing the point, and it's kind of like annoying because he knows about this China thing, and he just pretends to not care, or he doesn't care. You're just all racist. That's the actual reason. And this is just another Hollywood director calling fans and viewers racists, and it's kind of sickening. But he won't care. I mean, he's a millionaire, isn't he? He's like friends with loads of celebrities. He'll be drumming this talking point home to him as well. So anybody who hasn't got like a mind in their bodies or their head, anybody who hasn't got any sort of intelligence at all will just listen to him spouting off this belief system he pretends to have. Because I think he's pretending here. He knows that people don't object to the colour of the skin of the mermaid. What they object to is the action of changing it. It's the activity around it. It's not, nobody hates the actress. Nobody hates that black people. What people hate is Hollywood race swapping. Why can you not write new film scores, new scripts that are for people of colour? Why are you not doing it? Why are you giving people of colour things you've already made that had white people previously doing those roles? That's where the racism really lies, in that Hollywood isn't doing it. And James Gunn is trying to sprinkles some fairy dust over that. And it's kind of annoying, James, because we know you're doing it. We're not stupid. We're not dummies. Even though you think everyone is, we're not. And we know what's afoot here. They don't do it because they won't sell it. And that is what I believe. And there's probably a strategy in place here. Or well, let's get our surefire hit, strong, best-selling stories. Like let's do Have they done Cinderella yet? But they'll do the lot, and they'll just do like these people. Now, it's very important to note that they don't look at people of color as being people of color. They just look at them as being people, which is what everyone should be doing, right? This is where we want to get to, but that's not what the actors are doing, and this is where the frustration is coming. We've got race baiting going on red carpets by actors who are saying it's so important for me to represent people like me on the screen, and they shouldn't be saying stuff like that. Should just be saying it's great to be in the film because I've always wanted to. A role like this would be fantastic for me. I'm just really chuffed to do it. Like I might say, Halle Berry has just done. She's just done that exact thing. Let's just have a look. This was yesterday at the Disney D23 Expo. I'm not sure where it was, but she was brought out onto the stage. The guy in the middle is the director.
Welcome to D23 Expo.
It's the first time you saw that, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't seen this, so
Hallie,
not off the press.
as the audience just saw, you are bringing something so special to the character of Ariel. Can you talk a little bit about if there was a connection to the character prior to taking the role?
Yes. Well, hi everyone. I mean, getting this film, working with Rob, is such a dream come true for me. I mean, I'm sure all of you in here can relate to Ariel and how special she is to all of us. And, being a little girl, swimming in the pool, imagining I was a mermaid, I never thought one day I could actually see that come to life. So I'm just honored and super, super grateful to be here in front of you all.
So blah blah blah. I mean, that's great. That's what you want to hear from these actors. That they just, I dreamt of doing this one day, and I'm just really chuffed that I can do it. But what's going to happen is she's going to be told by the production companies, by the studios, that you're going to get lots of racism for this, by the way, and just be prepared for it because there's so many racists out there right now, like downvoting videos and stuff, and it's just not true. She's not going to get any racism. Nobody's racist against her. Nobody hates her because of the color of her skin. And it's a lie to tell her that is the case. And this is why James Gunn doing what he's doing is he's part of the problem, isn't he? This is the racism. This is the racism right here. That's the racism. And it drives me mad that is what he's telling young actors is happening. Because it just isn't true. I would love to know your thoughts about The Little Mermaid, where you're coming from. Why if at all, do you object to it? Why do you think other people are objecting it? And what do you think of James Gunn and his? Is he just making? I think he's probably just making a joke, to be fair, which makes this video completely pointless. Have a lovely day. I'll catch you later. Take care. Bye bye. Oh, I'm still.